Do you remember?
What?
You set it up a couple of months back, didn't you? Don't know if it's still on here, you know?
What?
We put the pictures from my phone onto it, do you remember? That you done that website.
Oh, good.
Christmas Electrical.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm filming you now, Chris, is because as much as possible...
Is it powered up over there, yeah?
Yeah, it is, yeah. As much as possible, I'd like to record what you're learning here.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said the other day, these next 6 months or whatever, you know, might not take that long, but the 6 months I'm going to be with you until I go and see her in Australia.
Yeah.
Would be brilliant. So this would be, but I'll be honest with you, when I walked in there this morning,
yeah,
I was shit.
What were your first impressions?
Worried at first.
Yeah.
As if to think, you know, if I was to get a position like that on my own,
yeah,
I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't know what to say, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, that's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this, because I'm your friend. You don't have to be nervous.
Me looking at that, to me, that would be sort of like 2 or 3 men job.
Yeah.
But obviously...
Well, there's 2 men. There's you and me.
Yeah, but obviously one man can do it, but it could take a while.
Agreed, yeah.
But, you know,
yeah, I mean, I'd say to work safely, you need 2 men. Because, like, sometimes, let's say, just the simplest of things, you need to run a cable from downstairs to upstairs.
You need 2 people, one in one place, one in the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one man could hook the cable,
put it on here.
yeah, pop it up through the ceiling, hang it on there, go up, walk upstairs, then pull it through, but you can guarantee after a couple of meters it'll snag. You'll have to come downstairs, loosen up the cable, you know, so two men is definitely the minimum that I'd want working on a decent sized job like this, yeah?
Yeah. And you could talk to me about costs and all that as well. What sort of cost that would be to someone that was going to be doing that job.
Okay. Well, I don't want to worry you with that sort of thing at the moment.
No.
What we'll do is buy... What's the time now? Time now is about 10 o'clock. Approximately 10 o'clock.
10:24.
Yeah. So it's 10 o'clock on Saturday. So let's just start adding up the hours as we do them. Yeah, as we put in time here, we'll add up the hours.
And that'll give me a rough...
Exactly. So at the end of the day, when we step back and we finish the job, you can say, okay, I spent 100 or whatever hours on that job.
Yeah.
So 100 hours divided by 24. So that's about 4 days constant work. I mean, of course, you're not going to work for 4 days constantly, but it just gives you an idea, isn't it? So let's say you wanted those 4 days spread into 8-hour days, you know, perhaps 2 weeks of constant work. Yeah, that's not taking into account lunch breaks. That's not taking into account going down to the shop to buy materials and stuff. That's just pure hard work. Yeah.
What you see out there at the moment? Yeah. Has any work there been done by the electrician or not? It hasn't, has it?
Nothing's been done yet.
It's just the builders come in, taking all
just
apart.
the builders come in and gutted the building.
What do they call that bit there that's been done? Did they just cut it back to the bare walls?
Yeah.
So obviously it's still live, isn't it? So obviously they've got to be careful what they do there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, for me, that's exciting that you're going to be seeing that element of it. Not only are you here as the electrician to do the installation of the job, it's also your responsibility on many building sites to ensure that people don't get an electric shock, because plasterers, painters, they don't understand about electrics. They don't realise that pipes could be, metal pipes could be live, that they could get shocks off them. They don't realise that if they bash through a cable they might get a shock off it. That's your responsibility as the electrician. You're the one who's qualified in electrics, and it's, let's say somebody died on a building site.
But obviously I can only just let them know about that and just say to them, no, be careful, we need to do this.
No. It's your responsibility to actually disconnect shit as well.
Right, okay.
So that if somebody were to get a shock and they died, and the judge in court is saying, well, Mr. Christmas, shouldn't you have disconnected that cable, then, you know, that's your responsibility. I mean, don't lose sleep over it, but no, I actually do lose a bit of sleep over it. You are basically the daddy, you are protecting your little babies coming in who are doing work.
Do you actually, obviously, like, take the fuse out, or do you just, you know, break the circuit, or what? How do you do it?
It's a very grey area, because let's say you did what you want to do. What you really want to do is come in, turn the power off and fuck off, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah? Number one, that's not always going to cut it.
There's nothing that they can do to touch.
Yeah.
But obviously people are going to be still using stuff.
Yeah, exactly. In this type of small building site environment, people are still going to want their electrics, and then it's not like a tower block building site, you know, where you've got 110 volt supplies and this and that. Most domestic, you know, jobs like this are going to be using 230 volt. Mm. Now, you know that's not permitted. According to the regs, you're supposed to be using 110 on building sites. Yeah. But I'm telling you what's real world. In the real world, people are going to turn up with 230 volt tools and they're going to be expecting to use them. So if you, I mean, I remember on one of my early jobs, I went out there and I set up a 110 volt supply thinking that everyone was going to turn up using 110 volt tools. Nobody turned up with 110 volt tools, and everyone was saying we need to use these fucking 230 volt tools. Turning to me, yeah, you can try arguing the toss and saying you should have 110 volt tools. So
what did you do then?
I had no choice. I gave them 230 volts because the alternative was saying you need 110 volt tools, which would have meant that they either have to buy new tools, which they didn't have, 110 volt tools, or they'd have to rent them from like a rental company, which again just threw the cost up too much and the customer couldn't afford it. So he said, oh please just make 230 volts. Now
yeah, but that you know, we talk about this in the class quite a bit.
Okay.
And people say, you know, it's up to the individual themselves, because at the end of the day everyone does it. Plumbing, electric, carpentry, everyone does all right. You know, the regs are there for a purpose.
Yeah.
And if me and you comply with the regs, that's up to us. But if something goes wrong and we're not complying, that's when it could go wrong.
Okay.
And that's obviously where you're on about the 230 and the 110.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could take your thing into a 110 building, but if you get caught and something happens and you're using 230, bye-bye queuing, isn't it?
Agreed. But I'll lay out the scenario for you. Yeah. That same customer who you've thought about their safety, you know the regs, you're more professional, yeah, you've gone in and told them, listen, I can't give you 230 volt on this building site, I've got to give you 110. Their chippies have walked off site because they don't have 110 volt systems, load of aggro. Next time when it comes to that customer thinking about who they're going to employ to do a job, are they going to pick you, who lost them £1,000, or are they going to pick you, the next guy who just does the job and gives them 230 volts? Yeah? I guarantee they're going to pick the other guy. Yeah. So that means you've lost out on your job. Yeah. Now,
yeah, but I'm doing it right though.
You were wanting to do it right. The point is you don't get the next job, so you're not doing anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's what life is all about, man. Making those decisions that.
When you say like the 110 volts and the 230,
yeah.
Obviously the 230 is, you know, domestic, and that is the power supply, innit?
Yeah.
So when you say 110. What are you meaning by that? When
so you'd have transformers. You'd have those yellow box transformers, wouldn't you? Into one side of the transformer. Yeah, I think
you showed me, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I've got one in the garage. At some stage I'll show you. It's just a little yellow box.
You'll plug that into electricity supply, and that cuts it down to 110, doesn't it?
Yeah. So of course at some stage of that you're going to have 230 volts. The incoming supply that comes into the cutout is 230 volts.
But the outgoing that comes out is going to be 110 because it's going through the box.
Exactly, yeah. So the outgoing of the box is going to be 110.
And how much would one of them be for me to buy in the future if I was to get one?
Oh, nothing. Dirt cheap. About probably from if you're buying a second hand one, you could probably pick one up for 20, 30 quid.
Because I have seen even the last couple of weeks I've actually seen them.
Yeah.
It's saying that like walked down the graveyard in Weybridge a couple of weeks ago, and there was like some outdoor lighting.
Yeah.
And he had like a transformer thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
A blue and white plugged in like the box.
Yeah.
Which was obviously supplying the lighting.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Alright, turn the whole thing.